beautiful throughout their life, and they believe that, they have confidence in that, they act that way. But a person can be beautiful, have been told all their life that they're not, and they will act as though they are. And they will be hateful around people who they misperceive, in the way that they greet them. Well, see, he didn't greet me like he greeted maybe it's the way I look, the way I've been treated all my life. People always deal with me that way, so I get treated this way. So now I'm very angry, and I'm looking for somebody to slight me. The mind is the point of balance. What do I mean by that? Three below, three above. Number 4, the mind. Is the point of balance. If you're going to balance this 3 and this 3, it takes the mind to balance it. It takes the mind to balance the physical with the spiritual. It's a body, mind, and spirit. It takes the mind to balance the physical with the spiritual. It takes the mind to balance the emotional with the cosmic. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, they tell you astrologically your emotional makeup is based on the planets that you have in your emotional house. So there's a link right there. So my mother was an Aries. I knew not to make her angry because I know how Aries responds. My father was a Gemini, so he just looked and just kind of, he just read you. So there's a connection between our emotion and the planets themselves. But when you can't use this to its utmost, you don't know how to, it's just something you read. So that's the difference between Carlos and most people. Carlos understands this, so he can go into all this and show you how it manifests cosmically. Anyone that knows Carlos knows what I mean. Let's not play ourselves by discussing or arguing the Godhead. People waste time with that. I don't mean you don't discuss it in your own space. That's not what I mean. But when we sit down and talk about what God is, how do we solve that? Someone says Buddha, someone says Christ, someone says Jehovah, someone says Olarum. How do we get to that? You make decisions based upon your desires right here on this level. So you got to evolve to the point where you get out of this madness before you can even talk about God. How you talk about God, you don't even know you got psychological hang-ups, emotional hang-ups. How are you going to really talk about God? That'd be like me trying to discuss this young lady, and this is the first time I've ever seen her. I know of her name, but I don't know her. And we're on the same plane. And look how removed we are from each other, just by time and space. So now you're removed, for the time and space, from the Godhead. So now we argue over that and we kill each other. We bring this mess up into that. That's what I'm saying. We bring this mess right here into this. And then you form hatred based upon how you vision the Godhead as opposed to how someone else visions it. So to me, this is the biggest joke of going into a spiritual tradition, not having handled your basic problems, and decide to argue and hate somebody based upon how they view the Godhead. That's a waste of time. And I use it as an example of how we take something meant for our emancipation, and because we don't have the full working of the mental body, we misrepresent this thing right here. If we say spirit, the essential quality of a human being of life, then how can you kill somebody or maim somebody or injure somebody in the name of the spirit? How could you dislike somebody or argue with somebody, truly hate them in the name of the spirit? That's because you're talking about this, you've never really gotten there. That's what that is. I'm highly appreciative of people that can tolerate the differences and yet stay in their own space. You know what I mean by that? Just be who they are. Tolerate the differences. Not expand the differences, just tolerate what's there. And be confident in what you've experienced. Notice I didn't say what you know, but in what you've experienced. Because experience over a period of time can become a knowingness. But you have to work with the experience. The person experienced this, they're hopping around, will never come to know anything, not know anything. Understand what I'm saying? So look at your experiences. Look at your childhood experiences. And look and see what has been left in you because of those experiences. It continues to disrupt your life. You never know until something extreme happens. Then you see the extreme behavior. They say, oh, I'm still there. I thought I was somewhere else, but I haven't been angry in about a year, but I hadn't experienced something like this. I see I have the same capacity for anger and bitterness and resentment. I say, wow, I'm still there. Yeah. Because this can give the illusion. Spiritual teachings can give the illusion that you're somewhere where you really aren't. Calming words. Words that give confidence. Like the Nation of Islam, we're told that God was black and didn't come to save nobody but us. Then you hear that he's an Arab that was selling rugs from door to door. So God is black, he's an Arab, and he lives on the mothership. But he got Chinese pilots on the mothership because black pilots can't fly the mothership. You begin to listen to these things and say, oh, okay. So when people ask me, why do you leave the Nation of Islam? That's one reason. It was good serving with men. That part was good. But the fantasies and the fairy tales, I didn't really need that. Didn't really need that. But that was right up there with Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. I really didn't need that. This is a schematic of a liberation system. It's a schematic of a liberation system. If you're going to liberate yourself physically through the art, you have to understand how to go beyond desire. Yeah, you got to get up on days that you don't want to get up, and get out on days you don't want to get out, and do things that are good for you that you may not really want to do at that moment. You have to practice discipline on this level. It's difficult to practice discipline if you don't know what it is.